Hello, thanks for checking out this video. This channel is usually just books. It's mostly science fiction and fantasy book reviews, but I am a huge fan of a lot of visual media and I watch apparently an exorbitant amount of movies, clocking over 200 on my letterbox this year. So I just started using letterbox last year, diligently recording everything I watched, rating it, and this year kept that tradition, logged everything, and apparently we watched over 200 movies this year, recording this in the very last days of December. And I thought, yes, I usually rank the books I read on this channel, but it would be fun for me at least to rank the movies I watched this year and what were my top 10. So out of 200 films, as a fan of science fiction and fantasy books, what do I actually watch and what did I actually love that stuck with me this year? So the criteria was more what either had an emotional impact or left a lasting impression, which is the same criteria I used when I chose books. Just what stuck with me? What did I love the most of this year? And to start things off, the number 10 this year was Nezha 2. This was the quintessential superhero movie, but from China. So while, yes, I am a huge Marvel fan, of all the movies this year, we only saw Fantastic Four, which was still good. Superman was, I think, better than Fantastic Four, but from a superhero kind of style movie, Neja 2 was honestly my favorite of the year, and it made the number 10 spot. It improved on the original with that little bit of humor, with action. The animation was stellar. Some really great scenes, really great action sequences. It's, yeah, my favorite animated film of the year. Number 9 is yes, it's on a lot of lists, and that's Sinners. With this one also stuck with me primarily, yes, for the cinematography, but some really great character scenes. It was mind blowing that it's the same actor playing two roles. The setting and the ambience for someone who loves world building in his fantasy books and sci-fi books. Thought the world building was really great. I really felt like I was in the town in that Jim Crow era. And then some of the scenes, specifically what still catches my mind is the music scene in the bar. Absolute great. I loved the film. Okay, the ending maybe is a little bit weird with the shifts and added a little bit of the mysticism part, but overall, yeah, one of my favorite movies of the year. I really had a great time with Sinners. And another American movie that I had a great time with and I think had a great cinematography, not so much world building like Sinners was, but great cinematography was Conclave. This one, as a former wedding photographer, professional wedding photographer for over a decade, I thought every shot in Conclave was a movie. I was dissecting all the angles, the camera movements, the shadows, the lighting. I thought it was just a beautifully shot film. I really enjoyed visually Conclave. It was, yeah, a treat to watch. The plot was still good as well. Of course, it does have a decent plot with a lot of like that behind the scenes like puppets, not like puppets, but yeah, just the plotting behind the scenes, not puppets, but plots behind the scenes of a papal conclave. So interesting. And yeah, great cinematography. Love that film. And then now moving into maybe some foreign films. I just watched this past week, but it did make the top 10 as I was narrowing down my favorite films of the year. I did sort of a Johnny Toe marathon and watched a bunch of his films like Breaking News, Running Out of Time, and I think one or two more that I watched this year. So I rewatched actually because I watched these back in college when we first got into Hong Kong films, and Exiled from 2006 was, I think, the standout for me of the year from Johnny Toe and a standout film in general, making my number 7 of the year. Just a lot of great action, great cinematography. The pacing is very tight. There's just keep going, going, going. There's always something happening. The plot is moving forward. And yeah, these shootouts between the gangsters, masterclass. A couple of the scenes, I was just left in awe. I was like internally cheering on some of the like the fights, the gunfights, but really great time with Exile. And then number 6 is my most rewatched film. I don't think I logged it enough in Letterboxd. I probably should go back and add it, but K-pop Demon Hunters, yes, we watched at least 3 or 4 times this year, just watching it or having it in the background, watch it with my wife, watch it with my son, had it in the background, watch it myself again. It's just a lot of fun. It's, yes, a bit cliche and formulaic if you watch any amount of anime or manga. It has that kind of same storyline where, yes, that she's like a secret of the other like bad guys and the good guys mixed together. So she has both sides and she's struggling with both sides, but it was just well done. It's a different take on that because, yes, it's set in a K-pop setting instead of like a traditional anime setting where the main character is like a half demon, half human. No, this one, Rumi, is a half demon, but a Korean demon. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. The music was great. Favorite song of the film? Golden? No, it is. This is what it sounds like. I love the last number. I thought it was great. The lyrics are great. It has a lot of heart to it. So a lot of fun with, yes, K-pop Demon Hunters. I loved it. That's why we have the poster to it. That was number 6. Then number 5, another recent film that was on streaming is One Battle After Another. This one also great cinematography, great plot, great writing. All the characters just were wonderful. The side characters are great. Leonardo DiCaprio is great. Just a lot of fun things going on in this. The cinematography was great. It was all just, yeah, a really well done film and it deserves all the accolades. There's not really a lot left to say on that one. And then now moving into my top 4. I mean, okay, we'll make it more dramatic for the top 3, but number 4 was Full River Red. This one also very visually stunning. I really enjoyed this one. I think the plot was interesting. It's set in, ancient China, so it's a little bit of a historical film, but it was very cinematic. It was just a lot of fun seeing the camera movements, the angles in the palace, all the kind of intrigue, and also, yes, it's like palace intrigue, palace politics of the different factions inside the palace. So I thought it was just a really well done, the cinematography, the directing, everything was top of the game from a master of the genre. So yeah, do check out Full River Red. I thought that was a really great film. And then next up, the number 3, I think this was Hong Kong's one of their films of the year, and that's The Last Dance. Shifting gears from like a not political, but military drama like Full River Red. The Last Dance was set in a more modern Hong Kong, and this is a heartfelt tale of people and legacy and family, and it's definitely on the drama side. It is very, yeah, dramatic. I can say it's about a family that runs a like traditional crematorium burial service for funerals. So it's like a traditional funeral service, and it's the carrying on the family tradition and going through turmoils and troubles and legacy of the son taking over and the family and providing for the family and carrying on tradition. So it has a lot of messaging in this story of a funeral service. So yeah, it's definitely, I think, worth a watch if you're a serious cinema critic. Next up, similar plot, not really plot, but themes. And my number 2 film was Stuntman. This one I haven't heard talk about a lot as far as like, oh, best films of the year, but it was one of the best films I watched this year. I thought it had just so much heart in it as well. I guess a similar theme to The Last Dance, and maybe a theme for this year's movies was that theme of legacy and family, because that is on full display here in Stuntman. It is about a aging stuntman in the Hong Kong cinema industry. So this film is also kind of a love letter to classic Hong Kong cinema, which maybe that's why I loved it so much, because yes, I love that golden age of Hong Kong cinema. So he's a stuntman. If you think of, like a stereotypical Jackie Chan stuntman association. So he is an older stuntman in this group, and he has to kind of figure out his place in this new world while also juggling his family. His daughter is growing up and getting married, and he is trying to obligate his obligations to his career. And does he focus on career or family and legacy and the genre and filmmaking as a whole with the new and upcomers? But yeah, really great film. I really had an emotional connection and joy watching Stuntman. And lastly, yes, another Hong Kong film was my number 1 film of this year. It's a throwback, an older film, even older than the 2024s and the 2000s that on this list. But that is Chungking Express. So also, like, I watched a Johnny To marathon this year with a bunch of his films. I was on a Wong Kar-wai marathon this year. I watched Days of Being Wild, In the Mood for Love, Fallen Angels. I watched most of the big hitters from As Tears Go By, missing the one that's totally slipped my mind, but I watched most of his most notable films just as an exercise in filmmaking or just watching it. I was just on this Wong Kar-wai kick. And yeah, I think my favorite of all his films was Chungking Express. It's just a film with just really real characters. They felt very human. The story, it's a bit about love, but it's more about drama, just the human element of surviving and people and relationships. And yeah, just something about the film. I just really enjoyed Chunky Express. I think it had the most film that stuck with me or had just like an impression of not like memorable scenes, because I don't know if there's like one specific scene that stands out, but just left you with an impression that this was a really well done film. It just felt very real and raw. Yeah, with the Wong Kar-wai's credit, I thought it was just a really well done film. So those are my top 10 films of the year, what I watched this year out of over 200 films. So a lot of fun this year. We had watching from superheroes to action films, and looking at my letterbox stats. We definitely watched a lot of action, but when I had to narrow it down to just my favorites of the year, I think I chose the ones that had more of an artistic flair and spoke to me more on on that level of, it was a human story. It was about connection. It was well shot, great cinematography, great directing, great character writing. And even though I had a lot of fun with sort of the popcorn films this year, which are always totally a lot of fun, that's how we watch so many. They're just fun films, but I think the most ones that stood out were those more, cinematic and like critic worthy kind of film of all timers. So this is my list of my top 10 films of the year. You can add me on Letterboxd and check out what the full list of my full movie diary for the year, my stats for 2025, where we watched over 200 films. So this is the list, 10 films of 2025. If you have any recommendations with this sort of flavor or genre of legacy and parenting, and with international flares, you can tell it's a lot of Asian cinema from Hong Kong, Japan, and South Korea. So yes, we do watch a lot of foreign cinema. So please leave recommendations. I'd love to check out more films, because apparently you watch about 3 or 4 films a week. So always room in the queue to watch new movies. So thanks for watching this video, and hope you have a happy new year and a great 2026 in film. Talk to you later. Bye.